Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got a little Ancient Inheritance breakdown for you guys. I have 5 quick tips that I want to share with you, and whether you are a beginner and this is your first time going into Ancient Inheritance, or if you're a veteran player that's played the mode before, I think this video will be a good little reminder at the very least of some things that you need to be aware of to maximize your earnings from this mode. So the first tip that I have for you guys is to log in at the beginning of the day. The moment you wake up, you should boot up your Epic 7, go to your guild tab, go to Ancient Inheritance, and join the map here. Once you're in the map, you selected your starting relic and you're on the map tiles, you can now close the game and go do whatever you need to do. Right, go to work, go to school, and whatever. The reason that you need to do this is because you cannot get rewards if you're not on the map. So if you log in after school, after work, and you did not join at the beginning of the day when you woke up, and let's say your guild has cleared the first floor, you do not get any of the rewards from those boss drops, from those warden drops, nothing. Right, so make sure you are on the map at the beginning of the day. It is probably one of the most important things that a lot of people don't realize they have to do, and then you really miss out on quite a bit because you miss out on the 88 gear drops and everything too. So the second tip for you guys actually pertains to units and leveling them up. This time in Ancient Inheritance, we are going to be leveling up the elements instead of classes. So if you've played in previous Ancient Inheritances, you used to focus on a couple of classes to level up. Most people tend to focus on warriors and soul weavers, and then you'd adventure through with those pools of units. This time around, we get a lot more diversity in that we actually get to level up the 5 elements instead. So that means if you choose, for example, fire as one of your elements to play around with, you have access to all the classes of every fire unit that's available in the game, which is pretty good. It actually opens up a lot of doors for team combinations that weren't possible before. Now, when it comes to leveling these elements, it's gonna be important for you to know that you have to fight specific mobs in order to gain that particular EXP. For example, if I want to level up a Earth unit, to level up the Earth element, I need to be fighting units that I have elemental advantage over. Therefore, I would be fighting Ice element enemies to level up my Earth element units. If I want to level up Dark element units, I would have to fight Light element enemies, right? And so on and so forth in terms of the elemental advantage triangles. Now, RGB units tend to be preferred as PvE options in Ancient Inheritance, mostly because they have a lot of everything. There's a very diverse pool of units. You have damage dealers, you have healers, you have cleansers, you have utility units that debuff, right? And you have a lot of damage dealers as well. Now, ML units do also have those subsets of characters. They just tend to be a bit more limited on the healing and cleansing and utility side. ML units are also more difficult to come by, so if you're a starting player and you don't have a lot of these Moonlight characters, don't worry about it, because they're not usually the most optimal choices for Ancient Inheritance. Again, your RGB units here, your fire, ice, and earth element characters have a wider pool to choose from because they just have naturally more 3, 4 stars, and 5 stars available. Now, when it comes to focusing on the elements to enhance, I actually recommend that you guys choose 2 elements to focus on. For example, if you want to use fire and earth, or maybe you want to use light and ice, right? You can choose any 2 elements to just focus on to make sure you don't spread your resources too thin. If you end up going for all 5 elements and trying to level them up evenly, you're not going to be strong enough to fight the priest or the wardens when they start appearing. You're going to be underleveled, and once you progress to higher stages, you won't be able to keep up with the rest of the guild, and you're going to absolutely get stomped by the mobs that are there. So focus on a couple of elements at a time. If you're really good at progressing and you have 2 really strong elements, you can maybe squeeze in a 3rd to work on, but it is important that you focus mainly on 2 to begin with. Now, speaking of these element systems and the mobs, the third tip I have for you guys is to just be aware of your guildmates that are with you, right? Be considerate of your guildmates. So, the main thing that comes to this Ancient Inheritance is different from the previous ones is that when you're fighting the boss, when the boss is revealed, you can only fight the boss 2 times a day. That's right, you can only fight the boss twice, not unlimited times like you used to be able to, so this means that you want to share the resources with your guild so as many people are going into the boss fight equipped and strong to take him out. So, because leveling requires fighting mobs, and most of the mobs in the stages have hearts above them, they're usually going to have 3 hearts above their heads, that means you can engage with the mob and beat them 3 times before they're eliminated from the map completely, for the entire guild. So, when you're trying to focus down certain elements, do keep in mind that other people in your guild might also need the EXP from those elements. So try not to clear them, just stand in one place and kill the mobs, right, all by yourself. You know, hit 1 or 2 times, maybe continue moving on, exploring the map, unlocking things, and fight mobs along the way so that you can clear a path for yourself, and also leave a trail of EXP that other guildmates can pick up while they're adventuring. This makes sure that your guild is more evenly distributed in terms of their EXP, and that everyone is going to be more prepared to fight the bosses. The other reason why is because treasure chests have actually changed as well. Treasure chests now need keys to open, and the only way to get keys is to get them as drops from mob fights, or sometimes as a reward for leveling up your characters. Now, these chests still contain really important goodies that will benefit your account in general, but also helps you clear out the Ancient Inheritance shop. So by leaving some of these mobs for your guildmates, it allows them to also get keys to open their own chests so that they are also progressing and they can clear out what they need from the shop as well. Now, for the 4th tip, this is going to help a lot of you beginners a lot who are going to breathe a sigh of relief, because Ancient Inheritance actually allows you to use any units in your roster at max level, max awakening, and max enhancement. That's right, you are not limited to what you currently have built, right? So for example, my Corinne over here has 6 stars, she's fully awakened, right? And she has Molagoras in her skills. You do not need to build up units in order to use them in Ancient Inheritance, right? You do not have to build them for Ancient Inheritance. You are not limited to the units you currently have built. For example, one of the units I use the most in Ancient Inheritance is Fire Kawazu, because of his great ability to debuff the opponent while actually packing quite a punch. Now, my Fire Kawazu here is 5 stars. He is not awakened at all, and he has no skill enhancements whatsoever. But once you bring him into Ancient Inheritance, any unit you bring in and recruit is going to be 6-starred, fully awakened, and plus 15. If they are a specialty change character, they actually have plus 30 to their runes as well. So you can use everyone at their maximum potential as long as you've summoned them. So if you have units in your roster, for example, Batiste is a really strong PvE character, right? Camilla, also a very strong PvE character. Then if you have them, you can use them, you're good to go. This actually leads me into my 5th tip here, which is going to be about gear. So when it comes to gearing your characters for Ancient Inheritance, your substats don't actually matter. What matters for these fights is actually your sets, your equipment sets, right? So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the sets that are good for certain types of characters. If you have a DPS character, you tend to want to go for things like attack set if you want some more damage, because attack has no cap. Speed to help you turn cycle. You can go for lifesteal for self-sustaining units, help them heal up. Counter to help you get some more attacks in if it's not a unit that turn cycles very well. You can go for Rage set, which is one of the best PvE sets in terms of damage. Increased damage against debuffed units is very, very strong, especially for the Warden and Priest fights. And you can also go Penetration set and Torrent set for just maximizing your damage output against your enemies. The Torrent set HP downside isn't going to be huge, because in Ancient Inheritance you get overinflated stats on your characters, and really quickly you're going to be able to cap out your crit rate, your crit damage, and you're going to have really high effectiveness and effect resistance. This is why you're not going for things like hit set or resist set, no destruction sets or crit sets either, because those stats cap out pretty fast. Now for support units, what you're going to be looking for is defense sets, HP sets, speed sets, and counter sets. These are really good for support units. Defense and health, just raising the base stats of those units, right? So that they can be more tanky and stay alive longer. Speed sets, great for turn cycling, usually used with the defense or HP set. And counter sets, also pretty good for certain characters that have CR pushing, cleansing, or healing on their S1s that you just want to proc a bit more often. But anyway, that was a quick little overview of some tips for Ancient Inheritance. Hopefully these tips will help you out in terms of preparing for the mode that's going to be coming out very, very soon. If this video did help you, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more Epic 7 content. And until next time, take care.